Chapter 3. My brethren, let not many of you become teachers, knowing that we shall receive a stricter judgment. For we all stumble in many things. If anyone does not stumble in word, he is a perfect man, able also to bridle the whole body. Indeed, we put bits in horses' mouths, that they may obey us, and we turn their whole body. Look also at ships. Although they are so large and are driven by fierce winds, they are turned by a very small rudder wherever the pilot desires. Even so the tongue is a little member and boasts great things. See how great a forest a little fire kindles. And the tongue is a fire, a world of iniquity. The tongue is so set among our members that it defiles the whole body, and sets on fire the course of nature, and it is set on fire by hell. For every kind of beast and bird, of reptile and creature of the sea, is tamed, and has been tamed by mankind. But no man can tame the tongue. It is an unruly evil, full of deadly poison. With it we bless our God and Father, and with it we curse men, who have been made in the similitude of God. Out of the same mouth proceed blessing and cursing. My brethren, these things ought not to be so. Does a spring send forth fresh water and bitter from the same opening? Can a fig tree, my brethren, bear olives, or a grapevine bear figs? Thus no spring yields both salt water and fresh. Who is wise and understanding among you? Let him show by good conduct that his works are done in the meekness of wisdom. But if you have bitter envy and self-seeking in your hearts, do not boast and lie against the truth. This wisdom does not descend from above, but is earthly, sensual, demonic. For where envy and self-seeking exist, confusion and every evil thing are there. But the wisdom that is from above is first pure, then peaceable, gentle, willing to yield, full of mercy and good fruits, without partiality and without hypocrisy. Now the fruit of righteousness is sown in peace by those who make peace.
So as we start chapter 3, we notice that teachers carry a heavy burden of responsibility. Absolutely true. But we also, as teachers, carry a calling placed in our lives by God to reveal God's truth honestly and faithfully. He's not let us alone in this, but He walks alongside of it, giving us that wisdom. So, chapter 2 talks about our works and how that reveals our heart. Chapter 3 talks about our tongue and how it also reveals our heart. You see, what we say can be a healing to someone or can be a hatchet to someone's heart. Every one of us have the ability by choice every day to be a blessing by how we act, what we say, those that we come in contact with. Every time we criticize ourselves, another person, those in authority, someone in your family, we criticize the very God who created them. If you'll reread verse 9, take a look at that. Think about this. We come to church or we watch online, we sing songs that praise the Most High God. And we leave church or we turn off that live feed and we loose our tongue on someone in our family, a coworker, some staff member at church, a neighbor, and we speak evil upon them. Now, James is going to say this: a stream is either fresh water or it's salt water. A tree is either going to bear good fruit or it's going to bear bad fruit. And James is relating this same thing to our tongue, which reveals our heart. You can't bless God with your tongue and then turn around and destroy a human being made in His own image who Jesus died for without there being a huge problem. If you dive into verses 13 through 18, James brings us into this conversation about wisdom. in verse 14 through 16, he talks about the life filled with false wisdom, the disorderly actions of false wisdom. He shares words bitterness, jealousy, selfishness, arrogance, lying. And he says those things are not from God. We cannot share the truth of Scripture and the love of Jesus with these evils in our heart. And when you look in verse 17, he reveals the heart of godly wisdom. And here he says this. He says, godly wisdom is first pure. And then he lists these godly terms, these godly wisdom terms that come from our heart. In verse 18, he says, he reminds us that we are all sowing seeds in our life. Our attitude, our tongue, they're sowing seeds. We're either sowing righteousness and peace, or we're sowing evil. And James drives that point home. And I ask you to just sit down, to be still, to draw close to God and say, God, search my heart. Reveal to me the ungodly, the false wisdom characteristics that are there, and let us be people who sit down before God, confess our sins, let Him cleanse us, and be back on a path of righteousness, honoring God. May we never lose sight of the fact that Jesus is always present in our lives. I pray blessing over your family and over you today. I look forward to the day that we get back together, we meet as a family to worship the Most High God together. Stay faithful, stay healthy. See you soon.